Alok, Churiwala, you're seeing what's happening in the markets and outside. Also, questions being asked about the Life Insurance Company of India and their investments in different Adani counters.
Yeah, so, there are only questions at this point in time, and everyone, including the markets, is searching for an answer. And that is probably the reason why we are seeing that the markets are tanking every day. The question remains the timing of the report being put out on the eve of the FPO. The question remains that there was a short seller behind it. The question remains that weapons of mass destruction like the futures and options are being used to depress the stock prices. The question remains that what is the actual valuation? Question remains, when will this stop? We don't have answers as of now, and the market players, including us, is searching for answers. Till then, the biggest advice to investors is stay away from the counters, stay away from the Adani counters, let the dust settle in. Dust will settle. At some point in time, it will. Till then, everybody will have to do soul searching. Right from the powers that be, to the regulators, to the exchange administration, to market players, we are all in it together. You mentioned about LIC. It's a question of damned if you do and damned if you don't. Today, when the stock was doing well, that is not the time the questions were asked. That is the time everyone was enjoying the fruits of success. But today, when the chips are down, the questions are going to be asked, and rightly so. But again, the point of the matter is, eyesight is perfect, 20/20 in hindsight, and how does a fund manager, and any fund manager, take a call? What needs to be bought, what not?
Okay, let Supriya Shinde respond to that important point, that when that particular fund manager, who on behalf of LIC took the call to invest in these Adani counters, and the shares ran away in the way that they did, he would have been considered inside LIC the smartest guy in the building. Now, when the stocks have started falling, questions are being asked, the knives are out, the likes of Alok, Churiwala would say, but hindsight is always 20/20.
Okay, let's get one thing right here, and I'm saying that with all responsibility that I carry to the show. There is no way that this carnage in Indian markets or the Adani counters is happening on account of one report alone. That report has exposed the fault lines that exist within the group. Why is it that of the total 80,000 crore rupees, which is about 38% of all of Adani Group's debt, only 8% comes from private banks and 30% from public sector banks? Explain that to me. Why is it that public sector banks were lending to Mr. Adani despite knowing the fault lines that exist, and why did private banks stay away? Nobody can explain that. The only reason they did is because they assessed risk better. And that is the question I'm raising. LIC, whoever may be the smartest guy in the room, he should actually be saddled and asked some very tough questions. That you were taking positions on money that was being raised by policy holders. Absolutely, आम भारतीयों का पैसा जो इस विश्वास से डालते हैं कि आप जिंदगी के बाद भी और जिंदगी के साथ भी उनके साथ रहिएगा. Who was LIC trying to ensure? That is the question one is trying to raise here. And you cannot get away by saying that we've made some profits. Yes, some of our loss, some of that stuff has been eroded. Mark to market, you stand exposed. You exposed LIC and money of policy holders, about 30 crore of them, to a very risky asset. It's quite as simple as that. Whoever was talking about phone call banking needs to answer some tough questions, beginning with Mr. Narendra Modi. He cannot be silent on this. Where is the SEBI chief? Madhvi Puri, have you heard one squeak from her?
But she hardly speaks. No, one second. On the Madhuri Puri Butch issue, where has she ever spoken? She doesn't speak. So they need to act through whatever they're doing, and there's some reports of them having taken notice, etc., etc.
That's very comfortable. She may have never spoken. I have known her in her previous avatar as a banker. I have known her in her previous avatar as a private equity investor, and she was very vocal. This is the time for SEBI chief to come out, assuage the markets, tell what is happening, and launch a full probe. July 2021, the finance minister says there's a probe on. Where is the report of that probe? I would want to know. I mean, Mr. Adani said, I have been tested by the regulator and I stand, I stand firm. Did he lie to the investors? And Rahul, one last thing I want to tell you. It was on the 10th of September 2008, Lehman Brothers told Wall Street everything was good. They said there's a strong balance sheet and there is robust business. On the 15th of September, 5 days later, they filed for bankruptcy. So let us not get carried away with what is happening. As far as the counters are concerned, the government of India, LIC and SBI is answerable. There has to be a probe into this by the JPC, and Parliament should question and should get answers from Adani.